What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions and their season preview, including record predictions for the 2021 NFL season. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, it's Mike here. Over 93% of you who view our show each and every day are not subscribed to the channel. If you could hit that red subscribe button, it would help us out tremendously, and it is completely free for you guys. If you want to stay up to date with our daily content, then click that bell icon and you will be notified every time we go live. Nick and I both really appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and we can't wait to keep making more daily content for you. All right, Nick, as we continue this series, we are finishing up the NFC North, and we have the Detroit Lions on the docket today. Starting off with their key signings and additions, we go with quarterback Jared Goff coming over in that massive trade with the Los Angeles Rams. Michael Brockers coming in from another trade with the Los Angeles Rams. Breshad Perriman and Tyrell Williams at the wide receiver position, and running back Jamaal Williams. Which one of these key additions do you believe is the most notable for the Lions moving forward?
I'm actually going to take both wide receivers, Breshad Perriman and Tyrell Williams. To me, this is going to really help this offense out. Jared Goff likes big-bodied wide receivers, and these two are standing at 6'2 plus. And with Breshad Perriman's speed to burn corners and safeties over the top, and Tyrell Williams' ability to get the better of 50-50 balls, I think this is going to be a great pairing with Jared Goff, who's able to put the ball on his receivers. They're going to work extremely well in this offense, and I think that it's going to be a really nice addition to what Jared Goff has to offer.
Yeah, so I believe that Jared Goff is the biggest addition because it's not just Jared Goff, it's everything that came along with him, right? You're talking about 2 first-round draft picks and a third-round draft pick, along with a viable option at the quarterback position. This is what the Detroit Lions got in return for Matthew Stafford, when, in my opinion, Jared Goff is just a younger version of Stafford. He just didn't have Megatron. He didn't have Calvin Johnson to throw the ball to. So, in my opinion, Jared Goff is the biggest addition for this team because of the draft picks that he comes along with. I think that the Detroit Lions are now in a position where they're going to be able to decipher whether they build around Jared Goff with the draft picks, or do they use one of those draft picks or both to move up and get a quarterback for the future. We'll wait and see and take a look at how they feel with him moving forward. But I do like the Goff trade for the Lions. Moving over to their losses, we take a look at quarterback Matthew Stafford, wide receiver Kenny Golladay, cornerback Justin Coleman, wide receiver Marvin Jones, cornerback Desmond Trufant, and special teamer Jamal Agnew. Which one of these really stands out to you, Nick?
Look, I like the wide receivers they added, but they don't match up to the hole that Kenny Golladay is leaving. What this guy was able to do for the Detroit Lions was so massive. When he was on the field, he was arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL. His ability to get past the secondary and create separation and make wild catches was a consistent thing from Kenny Golladay, and now that'll be missing. That's a big piece that Jared Goff will never have had a part of. It's going to be a big part missing from this entire offense.
Yeah, I'd definitely take a look at Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones both leaving that wide receiving room. Big losses. But I will say that the biggest loss does come from Matthew Stafford. When you talk about building a team, you want a very established quarterback. And while I said that Jared Goff was the biggest addition and it came at the expense of Matthew Stafford is the better quarterback. He is the more established quarterback in the NFL, and I believe that what he would be able to bring to this team would be veteran leadership that could get them in the running for the playoffs, especially in a year where Aaron Rodgers' availability for the Packers is either null and void or up in the air at best. So we're taking a look at the Detroit Lions. No Matthew Stafford, insert Jared Goff. I think Stafford's departure from this team is a massive loss that they're going to have to figure out. All right, let's move over to their schedule where we take a look at their record predictions. All right, taking a look at their schedule, we start off with week 1 where the San Francisco 49ers are visiting the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are going to have their hands full. You have Jimmy Garoppolo still in San Francisco. This offense finally got healthy. The offensive line is much more improved, much solid. And then on top of that, their defense is, lost a couple of pieces, but they're still going to be able to handle things against Jared Goff. Goff knows the 49ers very well. They know Goff very well, and I think that they're going to swarm him. Look for Nick Bosa to have a good game coming out of the gates. I take the 49ers in this one.
And then week 2, the Detroit Lions face the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau on Monday night. This is going to be a really good game, especially if Aaron Rodgers is not there. Now we get to see Jordan Love versus Jared Goff, 2 brand new quarterbacks to these teams, and it's going to be a really solid matchup. But to me, the Packers have the better weapons on offense and defense. It's just going to be a little too much for Jared Goff to handle. Even with weapons like DeAndre Swift and Perriman and Tyrell Williams, it's just not enough. Those names aren't Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. The Packers will get the better of the Lions in week 2.
Then in week 3, the Baltimore Ravens come visit the Detroit Lions, and you take a look at this Baltimore Ravens team, and they're still headed by that monster Lamar Jackson. He's going to be able to run all over this defensive line. He's going to have his way with them. And then on top of that, J.K. Dobbins is no slouch at the running back position. They were able to upgrade the wide receivers really well. I believe that Lamar Jackson's going to be a much improved thrower of the football this year. Look for him to showcase that against the Detroit Lions here with that depleted secondary. And I take a look at the Ravens. I think they're going to win this game very easily.
And then week 4, the Detroit Lions get to face their division rival, the Chicago Bears, for the first time this season. And this is a very winnable matchup for Detroit. But the Chicago Bears have a lot less change, and that's going to be the key in this matchup. But the Lions and all their changes, new head coach and new quarterback, new system, it's going to be a lot to handle. Even at week 4, it's going to be a lot for them to take on. And the Chicago Bears will be able to get the better of the Detroit Lions. Not by a lot, but the Bears will get the win.
Then moving on to week 5, the Detroit Lions continue their road trip against division rivals where they now take on the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are improved. They have made some really good additions, and I believe that the Vikings are going to be able to handle the Detroit Lions very easily. This is not going to be a close game. It's not going to be a fun game to watch. I think that the Lions have no chance in week 5.
And then moving into week 6, the Cincinnati Bengals make their way to Detroit. And this is, again, another very winnable matchup for Detroit. But when you look at this Bengals offense, it is extremely high-powered. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and running back Joe Mixon. This is a lot of weapons for Joe Burrow to work with a much-improved offensive line. It's going to be too much for this Detroit Lions defense to handle. The Bengals are going to have a nice win in week 6.
Then in week 7, we have the most anticipated matchup on the Lions docket. The Detroit Lions visit SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, where Matthew Stafford will be hosting his former team, and Jared Goff will be visiting his favorite team. Former team. Did I say that right? Either way, it doesn't matter. I believe that Jared Goff is going to be looking at this team and saying, I don't want to see Aaron Donald. I don't want to see Jalen Ramsey. These guys are going to absolutely punish Jared Goff. This is the first time they actually get to hit him, and they are not going to take it easy on him whatsoever.
Then moving into week 8, the Eagles face the Detroit Lions in Detroit, and this is, once again, I'll say it, a very solid matchup for Detroit, but the Eagles have better weapons. Jalen Hurts, to me, is going to prove to be a better quarterback this season than Jared Goff. The addition of Devonta Smith is going to be massive, and the running back trio that the Eagles have right now is going to be huge for them. To me, the Eagles will get the better of Detroit in week 8.
All right, things are not looking pretty for the Detroit Lions as they sit 0-8 going into their week 9 bye, and things do not get easier as they go on the road out of the bye, visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers are in a great position where they're going to be able to dominate this Lions team. They're going to showcase that high powered offense, and they're going to do a lot of what they did last year. They're going to beat up on ill prepared and less skilled teams where they're just going to absolutely dominate this game and not even think twice. I think the Steelers will absolutely dominate week 10.
Well, if you thought week 10 was bad, don't look at week 11 when the Detroit Lions make their way to Cleveland to face the Browns. And one of the best teams that I've seen put together in decades, the Cleveland Browns, are really going to take it to the Detroit Lions. It's going to be a cakewalk for Cleveland. It won't be pretty for Detroit Lion fans.
All right, sitting 0-10, the Detroit Lions not looking pretty. They go on a Thursday night short week game, and I believe that this is where they're going to make a statement. They will get their first win of the season against the Chicago Bears. I believe that this is the final game for Andy Dalton. I believe that the Detroit Lions are going to put together Breshad Perriman, Tyrell Williams. This offense is going to continue to score points, and this defense is finally going to be able to stop Andy Dalton and the Chicago Bears.
They get their first one in week 12, but when they face the Minnesota Vikings in week 13, all things aren't looking too pretty anymore as the Vikings are just overall a better team. Kirk Cousins, the better quarterback. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen are really going to be big factors in this one. The Vikings defense is going to have a field day with Jared Goff. Not going to be a pretty one for the Detroit Lions.
Then in week 14, the Detroit Lions head on the road and face off against the Denver Broncos, which is yet another winnable matchup. I think that the biggest question mark with the Denver Broncos comes with their quarterback position. And I think that the Detroit Lions have just a little bit extra motivation. They are sitting at 1-11. They cannot go out like this. I think that they're going to be able to give the Broncos everything that they want. I take the Detroit Lions in a very close overtime matchup with the Denver Broncos.
Wow, interesting. And moving into week 15, the Arizona Cardinals make their way to Detroit and face the Lions. This is going to be a very bad matchup for the Lions. Just as they face the Browns, the Cardinals are extremely high powered. It's going to be way too much for Detroit to handle. Even Dan Campbell and his mentality won't be able to keep up with the Arizona Cardinals in this matchup.
In week 16, the Detroit Lions once again hit the road for a 2-game stretch, and they're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. But last time I checked, Matt Ryan is still there, and while we expect Julio Jones will be moved and not part of the team, they still have Calvin Ridley, they still have Kyle Pitts. This offense can put up points on the defensive side of the ball. Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, these guys are still there. They're still doing their work. I believe that the Falcons are going to be able to roll over the Detroit Lions.
Then in week 17, the Detroit Lions face the Seattle Seahawks, and Seattle Seahawks will be fighting for a playoff spot at this point. They cannot lose any game that they have, and they won't because their offense is too much for Detroit defense to handle. The Detroit Lions offense just won't be able to put up enough points to keep up with Russell Wilson and company.
Sitting at 2-14, the Detroit Lions have had an absolutely abysmal season, and they have one more shot at victory, one more chance to put their stamp on this season. The Green Bay Packers come into Detroit, come into Ford Field, and the Detroit faithful, you guys know it, they have pride. They are all in, and they are going to dominate the Packers in the final week of the season. I believe that Jared Goff is too talented to lose this many games. He's going to be uberly frustrated. Dan Campbell is going to have this team motivated and ready to go, and this will be the final game of the Detroit Lions losing ways. They will end this season, but they are going to be ready for the 2022 campaign right away.
At a record of 3-14, it doesn't look too pretty, but honestly, this is what I expect from the Detroit Lions this season. Dan Campbell is a brand new head coach, and he's got a lot to learn. He's got to get used to working with Jared Goff as well, and Jared Goff's got to get used to this new system as well as all these new wide receivers. The only real fixture on this offense is going to be DeAndre Swift, and he's still got to get chemistry with Jared Goff and this offensive line. The defense has got to fill a bunch of holes that are still left. It's going to be a rough season, but you've got to look forward to the future, as they will most likely have a top 3 pick in next year's draft, in which case they will try to better this team for the future.
Absolutely. And you know what just kind of sparked in my mind? You didn't have the Lions winning once. Not once did you have the Detroit Lions winning. What's with that?
Hey, I can't say that I didn't want them to win, but it's the way the cards felt. It's the way the cards were dealt. It's not up to me. It's just how it's going to happen. I got to call it as I see it. Unfortunately for Detroit fans, it's just not looking too good from my eyes.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.